Hi everybody, welcome back. My name's Claire. Tomorrow is Earth Day, so I have joined in with a wonderful collaboration of other fluid artists across the world to celebrate Earth Day. So we're all doing our own interpretation, our own painting based on Earth Day. My interpretation, I am going for the 4 seasons and a tree, similar to the tree behind me, which is an apple tree in blossom at the moment. So let me show you what happened. Hi everybody, welcome back to my fluid art channel, Rainbow Acrylics. I've got a really exciting idea. So I live in the UK, it's spring, there's lots of pale pink blossom at the moment on the trees. So it's really got me thinking about the seasons. It's a bit warmer, I've got bare arms, it's not freezing cold here anymore. So I've got thinking about the 4 seasons. So I've just had this idea. I'm going to get a square canvas and divide it into 4 quarters. And I'm going to do some sort of fluid art on each quarter representing each of the 4 seasons. And then I thought it would be really great to embellish over the top with the shape or the image of a tree. And in each, as it goes over onto each of the 4 quarters, decorate the tree how it would be in that season. So pink blossom in the spring, lots of green, even red apples in the summer, I'm not sure yet, snow in the winter, autumn, lots of autumn leaves for the autumn season. So I've got this idea. I don't quite know how I'm going to do it yet, but I think it will just evolve. So I'm going to start. I've got the colours I want for my pour. I just now need to decide what type of pour for each quarter and just get started. So I'm going to start with spring because it's spring. So let me show you the colours. So for this pour, I'm using a 50cm square canvas. You can't see it all at the moment, but what I've done is I've drawn a cross across the canvas. So I've got 4 quarters, and then I've just put some frog tape down just to tape off some of the outer parts. So I've got 1 quarter here exposed. So this is the bit that I'm going to pour now. This is going to be spring. So this is a quarter of my 50cm canvas. Now, this is my little colour palette. So for my spring colours, I wanted the really pale pastel pink and blue, but obviously there's a lot of green and I wanted some contrast, so some darker blue. For summer, I've got lots of much darker, richer greens, but also some blue. Autumn, have I got gold in there? Yeah, that one's gold, bronze, orange, and a bit of yellow for autumnal colours. And then winter, I'm thinking of icy colours, so more of the blues, no green, silver, purple and pink. The colour that I've underlined is the dominant colour that I want. So blue for spring, green for summer, yellow for autumn, and then the purple for winter. So they're the colours that I want to have most of. So that's my rough plan. So for spring, I've got these 4 colours then. So some blue, some pale blue, iridescent green, yellow, and then some pale pink. So these all started out as my Dutch pour consistency paints, Dutch pour paints, but I've thickened them. So I'm afraid I can't tell you what the recipe is because I poured some Dutch pour paint into this cup and then I've just added like a couple more dollops, little spots of the paint. So I don't know the ratio, but you can see the consistency. So it pours nicely still, but it leaves a trace. It sits on the surface as the paint touches the cup. It leaves a mound and it leaves a trail for a second, maybe half a second. So it's just thicker. And the reason I've done that is because I've decided to do a swipe with cell activator. If I use my Dutch pour paint consistency, I find that it's very fluid and often the cells distort. So I've just thickened it up so I can swipe with my cell activator, which I've got here. So this is mixed 3 parts Australian floetrol to 1 part white Amsterdam paint. So that's what I'm going to use. So for my spring section, I'm going to drizzle these colours on and then swipe, and I've decided to swipe from the outside in, and I'm going to do that on all 4 corners because the outside bit is always my favourite bit. So I'm going to see those bits really obviously with the beautiful cells and lacing, and then the bit where it blends a bit more in the centre is then going to be covered by the tree. So right, enough talking, let's get started. So I want my dominant colour to be the pale blue. So I think I'm just literally going to drizzle them on. I want less of this blue, so I think I will just put this one on first. And then I'm going to just dab all the canvas. There's plenty of paint on here, so I'm just going to dab it across the canvas so that every bit of the canvas gets covered, and it will just smooth it out a little bit. Can I tilt it? Yeah, actually I could also tilt. I think I might lose it some if I do that, so there's a lump of something in there. I think I'm going to do it this way. I'm just going to dab it, and then it should hopefully self-level. So all that canvas is covered now, and then I actually just tilted a little bit just to try and get it a bit smoother and a bit more even. Right, I'm just going to pop some cell activator into this little pot. And then I'm just going to use a piece of plastic. This is a piece of paper that has been laminated, so it's got a nice spring to it, but it's nice and flexible. So I'm just going to dip that in the end, so there's cell activator on the end there. And then I'm going to swipe this way, so starting near the edge. Oh, incidentally, I've covered the edges as well. They've got beautiful drips on them so that I can keep, so I've got some of the nice colour on the edge when it's dry. Then I'll just wipe that off. And go again, just slightly overlapping. So there you can see my full canvas now, and you can see the 4/4 and how I've taped over that 1/4. I'm absolutely over the moon with this. This could not have gone better. Just look at the colours, absolutely beautiful lacing at the edges. And then as I swiped, the colours just start to blend a little bit and muddy slightly, but that's the bit that's going to be embellished and covered up. So the bit that's going to really show will be the edge, and look at that lacing. I'm so happy. I missed a tiny bit there, but I decided I just don't want to interfere with it. It doesn't matter, and I think you won't even notice in the grand scheme of things because you'll have the tree over the top. The bit that's really going to be noticeable will be this bit here because the tree will come up here. I'm absolutely over the moon. And look at the edges. The white looks beautiful just dripping down there. So I had thought about painting the edges afterwards, but if all the edges end up like this, I will actually be really happy. So yeah, so far so good. I'm now going to let this dry. I desperately want to do more, but obviously I can't. I'm going to let this dry and then tape up another corner. We'll probably go in order, so probably summer next. So do that corner up there. So this is now dry. It's dried really nicely, really happy with it. So I'm now just going to take off this tape. In fact, I can probably reuse some of these pieces of tape that haven't got really painty. Right, really happy with that. What you might notice is that there's been just a little bit of bleeding of the colour. So can you see, yeah, along here? So basically the colour has just leaked very slightly underneath the tape. So what I'm going to try and do to prevent that happening is put more tape down and then just apply a little bit of varnish, and that should seal that to stop the colours on the next ones now seeping into this bit. Because obviously don't want any colours to leak onto this now. So I'm going to do this one next. So I'm going to do summer next. So I'm just going to put some tape down, in fact the tape that I've just pulled up. I actually ended up applying two layers of the varnish there just to make sure. I've realised I didn't need to put it on this bit because there's no colour on here yet, but it doesn't matter. It was this one that was really important. So 2 layers of varnish are now dry. So exactly the same principle for this section as the first section. Now ready to do autumn. So again, I've taped it and I've sealed it with the varnish. This is so exciting. So all 4 corners are now done. I've actually redone the summer because it was really dark. It still is a little bit dark here, but it was far too dark. So I took the advice from my daughter and added some warm colours. So I added yellow because she said with summer you think of oranges, reds and yellow. So I've added yellow. I've also added a much brighter pink. So I took out the dark green and took out the dark blue. Went for light green, 2 greens, pink and yellow. So really happy with that. I think this probably is still my favourite. Love these colours together. And then just what a wonderful contrast. You've got the really cold, frosty winter there, and then the really warm but autumnal colours. So I just feel the balance now is right. With that one at the top corner being so dark, the balance was thrown completely. So I'm so happy. The edges, look at how precise and neat these edges are. And I think that is down to the varnish. So I've managed to get really crisp edges. Obviously, this will actually be embellished over and covered up, but I want it to be neat to start with. So I'm now going to start with the tree. So I think I'm going to hand draw it on first, and then embellish it with paint. So you can see I've now completed the outline of the tree, really happy with that. I painted it over the top so that it was quite solid, but can you see there's the massive ridge in the centre where the quarters meet? So I've had an idea of trying to create some textured bark. So I'm going to use this. It's an all-purpose filler, so it's just from a DIY store. And I'm going to apply that. It's white in colour. You'll see it's white. I'm going to apply it to create a bit of a ridge and a texture, and then I'm going to paint over the top of it. I could colour this, but I think that would then dilute it, change the texture. I'm going to apply this straight onto the canvas, then I'm going to paint it afterwards and create some shading. Right, slight change of pan because that was actually far too grainy. So instead, I'm going to try this now. Pebeo Studio Acrylics modelling paste. It's a little bit more like paint. It's much, much smoother. So I'm hoping that it's going to stick to the canvas better. I just felt that other stuff, I couldn't spread it and I couldn't smooth it as I wanted to. Yeah, I can tell straight away this is going to be much better. So I can create some shapes, some ridges with the tree. So I'm now ready to start adding to this, but I just wanted to show you the tree before it gets covered up. Look at that beautiful effect. So happy. I'm so happy. It looks so bark-like, so realistic. I literally used two colours. So I used the brown, which I mixed with the blue, with the red and the green. And then this is just bronze. And it just highlights everything, highlights all the branches. So it's very simple, very easy to do. But love this effect. I just think it works so well. So now I'm going to do some leaves and some blossom on here. Going to do some leaves and I think some apples on here. This will just be leaves, but the autumn leaves. And then on here, I'm going to try and just put a little bit of snow. I'm thinking about using some more of this modelling paste to create a little bit more texture. I'll just see how it goes. So it's now finished, and I thought it only right that I show you this outside. And in the background there is my apple tree. So beautiful pink blossom at the moment, and then that will turn into really nice apples. So all finished, all dry. I have loved every second of doing this. I'm a little bit critical, always am. I don't feel there's a lot of balance. I think that this top corner really overpowers the rest, but I don't really know what to do about that, because that's how it would be in the summer. So show you up close. So the red apples, they were red, and then I've just dotted some green throughout them. I tried in this section to make the leaves a lot thicker, larger and a lot darker in comparison to the spring. I just wanted lighter, fresher looking leaves. I put the blossom on with a cotton bud, an earbud. So I just dipped it in the end of the paint. The snow is just acrylic paint, and I put it on quite thickly, so it had some texture, and the same down there. I was going to add some medium into the paint, but I decided not to. And there's the autumn leaves, because I actually quite liked the fact that you can actually still see the texture of the bark through there. So I decided to keep everything else quite flat, although the paint itself is textured, because I didn't paint it on delicately. I really did dab it on and tried to create a little bit of texture within just the paint. Just show you the actual pour again. So the spring there, and then the summer. Love that really deep pink in there. Autumn, really rich, and then the really icy cold blue winter section. So I'm over the moon with this. I love it. I've loved every second of doing this. So it's 4 pours in one, with a whole new sort of concept embellishment. So happy Earth Day, everyone. Thanks so much for watching. Please leave me any thoughts you've got, any comments, and please do check out the other wonderful fluid artists that are taking part in this Earth Day collaboration. Great, take care. Bye.